They said he was just a poor farmer, a man with nothing but dirt under his fingernails and dreams in his heart. But they were wrong. That man, Samuel Oak, held the power to humble a nation. In the courtroom, Judge Harcourt leaned back in his chair, a smirk tugging at his lips. "Mr. Oak, this court doesn't have time for fairy tales," he said. "You claim the land seized by the government belongs to you?" Samuel's voice was calm, almost soft. "Yes, Your Honor. It was my father's. And his father's before him." The judge laughed, shaking his head. "Your father? Mr. Oak, you're talking about nearly half the Central Valley. You expect us to believe a man who can't even afford shoes owns half the country?" "I have proof, sir," Samuel replied steadily. "If you'll let me show it." "Oh, by all means. Let's see this proof from the farmer who thinks he owns the earth," Judge Harcourt said, gesturing toward him. From the front row, a sharp-eyed government lawyer, Barrister Cole, leaned forward, a smug smile on his face. "Your Honor, this is clearly a waste of the court's time. The state lawfully acquired that land for development. This man is delusional." "Delusional or not, Your Honor," Samuel said, "these deeds are signed and sealed by your own government, dated before the country even had its independence." The judge's eyes narrowed. "So you're saying your family owned the Central Valley before independence? That would make you older than the Constitution itself." "Maybe not older, sir," Samuel replied, his voice even, "but older than your lies." Silence. "You will not insult this court," the judge barked. At the back of the courtroom, a young legal intern named Maya whispered to herself, her voice trembling. "These are real official land grants signed by the colonial governor. The same signature in our National Archive." She couldn't stay silent any longer. Bursting forward, she called out, "Your Honor, please, you have to see this." "Order! Who let this girl interrupt proceedings?" Judge Harcourt shouted. "I'm a legal intern, sir," Maya said, holding up the documents. "But this document, it's not a forgery. The entire Central Valley, all 240,000 hectares, were legally deeded to the Oak family in 1899. Barrister Cole's confident smile faltered. "That's impossible. Those lands were nationalized." "Not if the original deed was never rescinded," Maya countered. "The government has been building on private property, illegally." Judge Harcourt leaned forward, eyes wide with disbelief. "Mr. Oak, if what this young woman claims is true, do you realize what this means?" Samuel met the judge's gaze calmly. "It means, sir, that I was never trespassing." They were. The courtroom buzzed with stunned murmurs as the weight of the revelation sank in. Judge Harcourt banged his gavel. "Court will adjourn for verification." What began as a mockery had turned into a revelation. The man they laughed at held the keys to an empire. The story spread like wildfire, becoming national news. When the court reconvened, Judge Harcourt read aloud, "The court finds that Mr. Samuel Oak is the lawful heir to the Oak estate, comprising lands currently held by the state." Turning to Samuel, the judge said, "Mr. Oak, on behalf of this court, I owe you an apology." Samuel shook his head slightly. "Keep your apology, sir. Just return what's mine." Outside the courthouse, a reporter pressed forward. "Mr. Oak, what will you do now that you own half the country?" Samuel's voice was calm but resolute. "Land means nothing if it can't feed people. I'll lease it, fairly, to the same farmers the government pushed away." Judge Harcourt muttered to himself, almost in awe, "All these years. I thought power was in the row. Turns out, it was in the soil." Maya, standing nearby, whispered, "Sir, you changed everything. The system, it's shaking." Samuel allowed himself a faint smile. "Good. Maybe now it'll grow something honest." In a world where justice often bows to wealth, truth had risen from the dust. Samuel Oak proved that power isn't always in the courtroom, sometimes, it's buried deep in the soil, waiting for someone brave enough to claim it.